Husband, 30M, admits I, 28F, am ugly. I am not op. Posted by You, Ugly Woman, and NBSP. Original November 19, 2012. I am an unattractive woman. Objectively. I've always been this way, and while I have accustomed myself to it, it nonetheless remains a daily fact that being an ugly woman sucks. I met my husband 4 years ago, and he is greatest thing that's ever happened to me. He has always and frequently told me I'm beautiful, and somehow sounded honest, without sounding like my mother, like someone without another option to answer. Last night, Saturday, he had a group of friends over to our home. They meet several times a month to hang out, catch up and play games. He has known most of these guys since high school. I was upstairs in the kitchen preparing drinks and snacks when and was able to hear them in the basement and began to eavesdrop. Which I know was rude, but it wasn't really intentional. I realized they were talking about me. A couple of guys were teasing my husband about me, specifically about my looks. I could tell it was supposed to be funny. It was not. There was a point where one of them referred to me as a troll, and my husband blew up. Started shouting, "Listen, shut the fuck up. I know that. My name is ugly, but shut up. She makes me happy. Does your bimbo of the week do that, Jim? Dave, how long has it been since we've hung out and you haven't bitched about your wife?" Quote, not real names. He went on for a while, defending me, but all I could hear was, "I know she's ugly. I know she's ugly. I know she's ugly," again and again in my head. It just broke me. I don't know why. I've always known I'm unattractive, but he isn't supposed to. He tells me I'm beautiful so sincerely and consistently I'd started to actually believe he thought that. I started to cry and ran into a shower so no one could hear me. When I came out an hour later, everyone had gone home, far earlier than normal. I went to bed and then haven't spoken to him all day today. But I think I've been able to avoid letting him know I'm upset, or avoiding him. I know rationally that what he said was true and sweet, and that I sound be happy he loves me and not my body, but it doesn't seem to matter. I just want to be pretty. God, I feel so shallow. I've been crying all day. What do I say to him? Part of me wants to call him a liar, to scream and yell and cry, while the other part just wants to run away and never have to talk to him again and acknowledge that even the greatest man I will ever meet can't find me attractive. TL. Dear overheard husband, admit to friends that I am ugly. Even although I knew this to be true already, and the admitting happened in the midst of him explaining how much he loves me. It makes me feel terrible, worthless, and like I lost something I'd waited my whole life for. I'd given up hope I'd ever have a partner who even liked me before I met him. I lost a lottery spectacularly at birth, and my life feels like a big joke, a cycle of humiliation and punishment I did nothing to deserve. I don't even know how to talk to him. And NBSP. Update November 21st, 2012. This one turned out really long. Sorry. First off, I'd just like to say thanks. Just wow. Over the last 2 days I've had literally hundreds of messages and PMs. You guys rock. Seriously, look at that thread. That's got to have one best positivity and sweetness to meanness and jerks ratios on all of Reddit. Like ever. You guys knocked it out of the park for me. I'm still figure out why. So yesterday, after getting a barrage of support from you guys on my phone every couple minutes, non-stop all day, I decided to try and confront my husband over what I'd overheard. After we were both home from work, I told him I needed to talk. I told him I'd overheard him and his friends, and he immediately started to apologize for them, saying they were jerks and assholes and that I should have told him I'd heard. I had to stop him to let me get a word in and tell him it wasn't his friends so much as it was what he said. When I told him what he said, his whole tone changed. I could tell wasn't expecting to be blamed. I had had the whole conversation planned out. I wanted to explain how it made me feel, how I thought he really was attracted to me, and how betrayed it made me feel to hear him that behind my back. But I just started to cry, and couldn't really communicate what I wanted to say very well. He was awesome though, and just held me. And then after a minute started to speak like he was reading right out of the nicest comments in the original thread, telling me he was just angry and didn't speak very well, that he really does find me attractive even if the world doesn't, and his friends don't. I calmed down pretty quick. I'd basically cried myself out the day before. He took me to his computer and showed me an email he sent to all of his friends on Sunday. I wish I could copy-paste it now, but he basically called all his friends assholes. Said they'd crossed the line from good-natured trash talk to just being assholes, and then continued, going far beyond. He said that, for time indefinite, they'd have to find another host. We're no longer welcome in my home. He actually said, my name's home. I thought that would make it sound like I was ordering him around being a bitch. But he said he just wanted to empathize how wrong what they were doing was. Seeing him stand up for me again made me happy. Especially seeing me do it without talking bad about me. Helping me believe it really was just heat of the moment bad word choice. He told me to wait in the room and left, coming back with a folder. He said he was going to give me this for Christmas, but that he'd get me something else. I tried to say no, but he insisted. It was plane tickets and brochures. He's set up a trip in early January to this spa, hotel, resort thing in British Columbia. It was pretty mind-blowing. But I realized that it had to be several $1,000s he'd spent. We budget pretty thoroughly. He shouldn't have been able to spend that without me noticing. I asked where he got the money, and he said he'd been planning this for more than a year and saving all the money assigned to his weekly spending money, and collecting where I wouldn't notice, change from groceries, etc. When I say that sometimes I'm not sure I deserve him, understand that I'm not having a crisis I need help dealing with. He's just really awesome. He's taking me out for dinner, so I have to go. But I'll be on again tonight. TL. Dear, everything is okay. Husband is an amazing person. I still wish I was prettier, but understand how lucky I am. How happy I should be. And how prettiness and happiness are not synonyms. Thank you, Reddit, for all the support. I owe you guys. I'm glad this turned out well. Her husband sounds great and clearly loves her. I guess what he wanted to say was, I know she's not conventionally attractive. I do believe that he does find her attractive, but understands that other people don't. What a jackpot of a husband. If your mates are going to refer to your partner as a troll, those aren't your mates. I'm a firm believer in the idea that not being conventionally attractive doesn't make you ugly. There's so much beauty in people, and it's a shame to stop at physical appearance. Does your bimbo of the week do that, Jim? LMFAO? That kind of mistake is so easy to make, especially in the heat of the moment. As an admitted 4 who married a 10, I understand the constant awareness that people look at the two of you together and think, wah. I understand the feeling that in the eyes of the world, you're never going to be good enough for your so. And to overhear your so admit that yes, by conventional standards, he gets what they're saying, has got to be heartbreaking. Almost like it validates what you've been feeling, that you're outclassed. But to have that same attractive person tell you that they value you for who you are, not just for what you look like, and that you are more than what people see on the outside, helps a lot. Might not make it all go away, but it helps. My husband is classically very attractive. I am not, and I have to be okay with that, because he picked me when he could have his choice of virtually any woman he wanted. That speaks volumes about what's important to him. which is one of many reasons I love him. I'm so glad Op found a treasure who treasures her too. I lost a lottery spectacularly at birth, but she won a much more important one when she married this lovely man. Thank you, Op, for finding this story. My daughter has a book with a line something like, "When you love someone enough you forget what they look like. They just look like love." Seems to apply here. This was wholeheartedly wholesome to read. I hope I found myself the same with my partner. The bar has risen after that beautiful read. When I met my partner I felt no attraction at all, thinking, I am never kissing that dude, and questioned how shallow I was. It was a bad feeling, but good experience. I kept meeting him and treated him how I want to be treated. You can't help what you initially feel. Once I fell for him, my perception of him changed. I feel very much attracted to him. I long for no one else. He objectively isn't handsome, but also far from ugly. Most people are not, but to me he is just gorgeous. I'm sure her husband feels the same. Man, good on them. I understand what the husband was trying to say. It's hard to formulate the right words in the heat of the moment, especially when you're angry. I remember playing Mario Kart with my wife a few years ago when she shelled me 5 feet from the finish line and took first. It caught me by complete surprise, and the first thing to blurt out of my mouth was, "AWTFUCNT." In the 15 years we had been together I had never called her anything close to that mean, but I say stuff like that with my coworkers all the time, so it's a reflex. Tradesmen are mean to each other for fun, lol. Thank the heavens she seen the instant look of regret in my face. Called me a second-place prick and broke out laughing. Told me this was my C pass, and that next time I say that word to her I'll be in a world of hurt. I apologized. Finished the game with her and had a great night. Sometimes we just say the really wrong word in the heat of the moment. Damn. I hate humans sometimes, with such trash friends who needs enemies. I wish I could give the husband gold. The old saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, is so true. Sometimes you are so in love with someone that all of their objectively judged flaws are adorable to you. Sounds like that's where OP's husband is. I'm glad it got resolved. The way the husband worded his defense wasn't good, but it's hard to think words carefully in the heat of the moment. But even then, the fact he loves her and wasn't going to accept what his friends said about him was shining through. It seemed like he meant to say, I objectively understand she doesn't fit society's definition of beauty, but who is going to think of that when they're pissed off and not expecting the spouse to be listening in? I am so glad he stood up for her and made her feel loved. Dusty in here. I'm totally face blind. And the prettier a woman is, the more she looks like a flesh-toned Laminex cabinet. People with dramatic and asymmetrical features are attractive to me. I need to see some distinctive face components. Quite a few, to really get a feel for someone's face as a thing. And scars, crooked teeth just help me to recognize someone easily. Kind of important for, you know, getting into relationships. So anyway, my point is I would totally find someone very attractive who many other people don't. It's beyond me why a blob that's all cheeks is meant to be attractive. A person described as a troll sounds great. This is beautiful. Not everyone is attracted to looks. I'm not. I can appreciate a handsome guy, but I'd rather have a guy that makes me laugh and sees me for who I am. I'm the other end. I was seen as beautiful, really tall, slim, model looks, and that's all that people saw. There was a huge disconnect between what I look like and who I am as a person. I'm shy, love animals, and I had a disabled kid to look after. The guys who hit on me wanted arm candy and a life I couldn't live. You've met a guy who sees all of you. Not just the skin on a small part of your body, but all of you. And you sound absolutely stunning. Your husband is a lucky man. Have a wonderful holiday. Lord, I've seen what you've done for others. Damn, it was a mistake to cut all these onions at 7:30 in the morning.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicuricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.